That would be so excited if it's going to be a new leaf. This floppy kind of thing. We better be safe than sorry, I guess. A fully variegated leaf. So gorgeous. I just want my plants to look pretty. Hey there, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to a new video. For today's video I want to go and repot some plants. I have quite a lot of repots to do. I've made a list a couple days ago and this is my little planty to-do list. So there are quite some things standing on there. Definitely a lot of repots. I think in total there are maybe, 15 something. So yeah, it's quite a bit, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to repot these plants because I feel like they could really need it. And I'm not sure how many plants I'm going to repot today. I think around 5 or 6 because I have some on the list which are really priority. So that's the ones that I kind of want to do today. So I think without further ado, let's just immediately get into the repots. I think I have all my supplies ready, and this is the first plant which I want to go and start with. I have already repotted this plant I think 7 months ago, so not that long ago, but I do feel like this one does likes a lot of room for the roots, and there are like 2 big roots coming out. One of them is already rotten, so I do want to go and chop that off. And here at the stem is also some new aerial roots. Not sure if they will make it because they do look a little bit dried up. So yeah, I think this one could just really use a repot. There's also like a root on top here which is rotten. So I'm really going to chop that one off. I'm immediately going to chop that one. That one can go over there. First take this one out of the pot and first see if I gonna remove a little bit of this moss. So a little bit over there. I think I am gonna use this substrate just for in the new pot. There are some roots stuck at the... Yes. Okay, let me see. This is the root which is rotten. I'm also going to chop this one. Chop. So a little closer look at the root system. More what's going on. Oh, there's also another aerial root which is just a new one. So yeah, I think it's just really good to just repot this one so it can stand a little bit deeper, so that these aerial roots also have a chance to grow a little root system on their own. So I think that's nah, I think I'm not gonna use this substrate. I'm just gonna put it in a new one. Let me see, here I have my lids. And a little piece of moss can go over there. Let me see, it came out of that size. So yeah, I'm going just one size up. This is a 12.7 centimeter or 5-inch pot. I'm gonna place it in. Yeah, I think that would be a little bit better. But I am thinking, even too, if I like put it on the bottom of the pot, then still this aerial root is not that super much covered. I'm just gonna do a tiny layer at the bottom, like so. Maybe I should see if I can unravel these roots a little bit. Now just filling up this pot. Oh, this side. I do like to do most of my repots in the spring and summer, but still it also happens that I do them in the autumn and winter, but preferably I do them in the spring. And I think like when you repot your plants in the spring, they just have the most success of just bouncing back nicely. Just like one little whirl here where there isn't any substrate. Push it down a little bit. I just bumped into the new growth point. Oh. It's still doing well. I'm so curious how this one is going to grow, because seriously this one is the slowest growing plant in my collection. Like when I repotted it like 7-8 months ago, I think I already had it for a year? No, longer I think. Yeah, maybe up to a year or something, but it only grew 3 leaves in a year. And I did saw on the internet when I just got this plant that it mentioned that it kind of grew like 5 leaves on average per year. So yeah, that's really not a lot of leaves. So yeah, currently it's now working on one new leaf over here, which is exciting. And there was like also another growth point growing over here. And in the first occasion I thought that it wouldn't grow anymore, because it didn't do anything for the longest time. But I do feel like it is starting to do something. However, I do see now that I still don't have that new fresh aerial root not covered. Do you see that? Like a little tiny white aerial root. So what I did previously, when it was still like in the other parts, I put a little bit of moss on there. So I think this time around I will also do that, because yeah, I can put more substrate in there, but I still won't reach it till the aerial root. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of moss on there later on, but for now I think this will be fine. Oh, I'm so curious for this one. Like, this is really one of my favorite plants in my collection. I haven't mentioned what this is, but this is the Cercestis Mirabilis. And yeah, I think this is just such a unique looking plant, and yeah, really gorgeous. Like the beautiful pattern that it has on the leaves, the arrow-like shape. Really gorgeous plant. Can't wait to grow this one bigger. It is starting to brown a little bit at the tips. Not sure what it has to do with. If it has to do maybe with that I moved it to a lower light spot, or something with watering. I'm not sure. I do know that this is a plant that doesn't like to dry out, because these leaves are like paper thin. So yeah, doesn't like to dry out. But yeah, this is the first plant, the Cercestis Mirabilis. Really happy that I got this one done. Let me see, what should we do next? I think it are mostly small plants that I have here, but I also need to repot one of my Thai constellations, because it's really top heavy. And I think it's also like super wood bound. But I think the one which I'm gonna do now is this one. Is it still filming? Yeah, it's still filming, because it also gave a notification that it's a little bit hot, the camera, so it can be that it's going to fall out soon. But this is the Scindapsus Jade Satin variegated, also a really gorgeous plant, beautiful variegation. I think there are, I don't even know how many growth points there are in here. I think maybe even 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I recently also chopped it, so it's also activating some more growth points. I don't know, I think 5, maybe even 5 are in here. But yeah, this one is also quite rooted. And I also want to give it a little bit of support, because as you can see, it's now just doing this this floppy kind of thing. So yeah, I do really want to put something in there to give it some support. Okay, so the camera did overheat, but I think I was left with saying that I want to do a stake in there. So I just have like a little of this little bamboo stake that I want to put in there, and I'm going one size up with this one. Let me see, where is this one? So I think there is like one main stem and then one propagation that I have in here. I'm not gonna mess with the roots though, I'm just gonna immediately pop it in there. Should I do a little layer at the bottom? Yeah, I think that would be better though. Because I think I haven't repotted this one that long ago, if I'm correct. So just a little layer at the bottom. Put it in there. Let me see the stake. There were also quite some roots on top which weren't even covered. I think I'm just gonna put it I'm just gonna put it behind there so there's not any roots that getting damaged by sticking the garden stake, the bamboo stake in there. Yeah, I think this will be great. So maybe put it up a little bit, like so. Okay, now let's build this baby up. Oh, this looks like wanting to go the other way. There's like one root which is constantly going up. Get down there. I've been thinking, because there are still like a lot of plants that I do need to repot, to maybe do a little Q&A with the next plants that I'm going to repot. So yeah, if you have any questions whatsoever, plenty personal questions, then please leave them down below. I will really love to answer those questions in the next repot. So yeah, if you have any, please drop them below. I do hope that I can get these top roots. Yeah, nice. I think I do have that with a lot of plants, that like on the top there are like roots that are being like exposed, just because like sometimes plants drop over and they lose like a little layer of the substrate. And then I forgot to like fill them up, and then they end with all like roots being exposed on the top. And so it's really nice to get these roots exposed again. Let me see this one. No, I forgot to do the tippy tap, I think. Let's do it. I feel like there isn't that much movement going on. It's standing really sideways. So I do want to have it. Yeah. It's still leaning a little bit to the sides. A little bit more. One more. Okay, I need to go and secure this side plant onto the stake later on. I first do need to look where I have like a bit of Velcro, because I don't think that I really have Velcro left anymore. So finally got this one done. I had been thinking for a while, like, should I put this one on a moss ball, but no need for putting it on a moss ball. I think it's just nice, like so. I do have another plant that I do want to put on a moss ball today. That's my Philodendron Pink Princess. I think we're going to do that one after this one, because I'm really excited to put that one on a moss ball. But yeah, for this plant, so this is how it is currently looking. Yeah, really nice. There is like this vine, as you can see, like the stem is also almost fully white, and I do feel like the leaves that it is pushing out are also mostly fully variegated. So yeah, that was it for the second one, the Scindapsus. I'm distracted. I see something on there. It was just a little piece of soil. So now we were going to do Pink Princess. Beautiful Pink Princess. So that's this one. Look at their fully variegated leaf. So gorgeous. I have been thinking about chopping it, but I was like, no, this was like really exciting because I have had so many pink princesses in the past. I still have 5 because I don't know, I have a weird obsession with Pink Princess. But yeah, I'm just gonna let that leaf on there, and it's now growing a new leaf, and it just has like a nice amount of variegation, not like fully variegated. So yeah, I'm curious how long this leaf is going to last. And like I said, with like pots dropping over and then like exposing all the roots, this is really a good example of that. Yeah, I don't know if it really wants to show, but yeah, oh. There's like a lot of the topsoil missing, and a lot of roots have like dried up, I feel. I think they were still like alive because they were going like really into the pot. I think in itself it's not really in the need for a repot. I think if I would just fill up this pot, then it will be good. But I do want to put this one on a moss ball, even though I've said to myself that I don't want to put any plants on a moss ball anymore. It's just a planty goal of mine to get this one to maturity. I think this one has really beautiful genes. It's also a little bit dusty, I see. But yeah, I am gonna put it on a moss ball either way because, like I said, I really want to have this one growing to maturity. But I must say that this one is getting really good light, and so far it's just really not sizing up the leaves. I did remember seeing a video from Plants by Melissa a while ago, and she also mentioned that she had Pink Princess, which was tissue cultured, and that one just also was not sizing up the leaves. So I was thinking, like, should this maybe also be like a tissue culture? I don't know, like it didn't mention when I bought this plant that it was like tissue culture or something. So I'm really curious if I'm going to give it a moss ball, then if it then would go and size up the leaves. So yeah, this will be just a wait and see what it is going to do. So first also going to get this one out of its pot. Give it a little wiggle to get some of the soil off. From this one I am going to remove most of the soil, since I am going to put it in a rather small pot. Like if you consider that I'm also going to put the moss ball in there, then I don't want to have all this substrate on it, because else I can't put it in there. Okay. I am doubting if I should make this leftover mix a little bit more chunky, aerated. I don't know, aerated. Oh, I see that my boyfriend is calling me. My boyfriend called me, now I was distracted. Where was I left? Oh yeah, about this mix, if I am going to put like a little bit more chunky components in it, because it is going on a moss ball, and that's one of the reasons why I was doubting putting it on a moss ball, because in my experience, if like the water is like really going into the pot, then you do risk more chance of like the variegation turning brown. Doubts. Let me first put the moss ball in there. This is, by the way, just a moss ball that I am reusing. There's like cat hair on it. Because I did put 2 plants of the moss balls a little while back. Okay, I think this will be like really hard to get this Pink Princess in because this is the amount of space that I have. So, I think I need to untangle this root system a little bit more. Yeah, I will make it work. Yeah, so this is how it is going to sit in there. Oh, I'm really doubting because this one is still like heavy on the cocoa peat, and like what happened to my Florida Beauty was also the same problem. I've overwatered the moss ball, so there was like too much water going into the pot and the variegation started to brown, which I'm still so sad about that happened. So yeah, I really want to avoid it with this one. So I think it is better to make this one a little bit more chunky. So I just grabbed a big scoop of my base mix, which is this. And this is basically just bark, perlite, pumice, charcoal, and perlite? But wait, bark, perlite, pumice, charcoal. Yeah, that's what's in this base mix. And now I'm just gonna get some scoops from this one in, and here I've added worm casting and cocoa peat. So the cocoa peat is more for like the moisture retention. I kind of now have way too much to fill up this pot, but okay, maybe I can use it for different. Oh, there's so much cat hair on here. Let me see, the moss ball. Over there. The roots are all looking good, so now it's just a matter of filling this one up. I haven't added any like chunky components to it because I like to use like these small particles, because then if I like do like the tippy tap, then it just goes to these little holes into like the middle of the moss ball. Because I do see a lot of people using like such chunky mix that they just first put the moss ball upside down and then just fill it up and then put it in the pot. But for me, since these particles are also small, I can just do it like that. Oh, that's the one. I really need to wiggle the substrate in front of there because it's just like such a big clump of roots for such a small space to fit in. Good. Let me see if the moss ball is, yeah, it's like completely tilted backwards. Okay, I must say that I'm now a little bit too scared that there's like not really anything moisture retentive in here. Oh yeah, better be safe than sorry, I guess. Maybe I should use a little sticky. I've also been really thinking to put like a closed back moss ball in this one, but then I really had to make one and I wasn't really in the mood to do that. But I do have some moss balls which have like a clear PVC sheet at the back, and in some ways I do like it because I do feel like the roots that grow in the moss ball do have more chances of like growing a really good healthy root system. Because I do notice that if you don't have anything in the back, then sometimes the roots just go out there and they still like kind of dry up. Maybe also because I maybe sometimes let them get a little bit too dry. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't really in the mood to do so. Maybe if I am gonna do an extension, then I maybe do put like a close back moss ball on there. Because at like my Philodendron Patriciae, I do have like a close back moss ball, and it's really so satisfying to see all the roots growing in there. And yeah, with these moss balls you can't really see the roots that are growing here. But yeah, I still hope that this one will root nicely into the moss ball, because it definitely does have some aerial roots to grow in there. I think I am gonna really put the plant, really push it towards the moss ball, so it can grow the roots. One more detail. I think the moss ball is really kind of like tilted a little bit backwards. Yeah. I think this is fine. Okay, so yeah, the only thing I still need to do is like secure it to the moss ball, but I'm so happy about it. I'm gonna give it a good shower, because I do notice that it's like a little bit dusty. Oh, I'm so curious for this one to grow. Like, I do hope that it's going to mature really fast now on, and that's my planty dream of having like a big princess with nice variegation will come true. This will be really so satisfying and rewarding if that moment will happen. But so far I'm already really liking the look of it. So this is the finished results. As you can see, it still like has quite some space to grow. I think it will definitely be on here till, I don't know, like so far it's not growing like super quickly. Maybe if it will start to root in a moss ball, that it will grow quicker, because that is something that I notice with plants, that if they do start to root in a moss ball, then everything like speeds up a little bit, like the growth and just, yeah, the size. That's the most important thing for me, at least for this one. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a nice shower later on, and this is it for the beautiful pink princess. Here's this beautiful new fully variegated leaf. So yeah, let me see, what was this? Was this the third one? Yeah, I already thought we did more, but this is only like the third one. Okay, so I'll put it over to the side there. Now I do think I want to quickly do this one. I think this one will be just like a really quick and easy repot to do. But I must say I am a little bit curious how these roots will looking. This is my Monstera Obliqua. It's not looking that great currently. I do want to go and chop off these two leaves. But it's been growing in moss for quite a while. And okay, yeah, they still look good. It's pretty rooted in here. So yeah, I do want to go and pot this one up and see how it will grow. Like, I had this one on a moss ball with some more obliquas, and it was kind of growing really nicely, but at a certain point, like, all the leaves started to look kind of like what these ones are doing. So I took it off the moss ball, also because I was just getting over the amount of moss balls that I had. I think like at a certain point I had maybe 25 moss balls, maybe even more, and yeah, I felt it was just too much to keep on top of all of those moss balls, to keep them moist and do like the extensions and so. So yeah, that's why I decided to take it off. It does smell a little bit weird. I don't know if that's like the smell of what, or the smell of just the wet speculum moss, because it is like super wet. And I also feel like with the Obliqua they do really good in high humidity. Like, I have some in my pot box, I think like maybe 5 Obliquas. And they just really keep the leaves looking nice, like no signs of yellowing whatsoever. So yeah, we'll see how this one will grow. It will eventually not make it, and yeah, I won't be fussed about it, because I still have a lot of babies. And I do want to definitely add one of those babies in the milk bowl. Okay, so this is how the root system is looking. There's still like a little bit of moss on there, but I'm fine with how it is looking. I'm just going to place it like in the same size container that it was in. And I also think I'm immediately going to chop off this end bit, because that's there was like a new leaf growing from here, but that one was just wadding. So I'm gonna cut that one off. I also do see already 2 new growth points starting to activate, so that's also exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna chop those other leaves off later on. Again, little layer at the bottom. Oh, where's my lid? Oops. There it is. So I think that's already it for the Obliqua. Maybe I should do a little bit more, just a little bit. So nicely filled to the edge. One more tappy. I'm merely going to chop off these leaves. This one and this one. Okay, so this is how it's currently looking, just down to 1 leaf. But yeah, this is just the only leaf which is kind of still looking nice. Like, I really don't like it if like I do see a lot of yellowing on the leaves. I just want my plants to look pretty. So yeah, that was just a really quick and easy one, and yeah, also just a wait and see how this one is going to go. I will go and keep this one downstairs. I am doubting if I should do one more plant. Let me see, how late are we living? Where's my phone? Oh, I'm always losing my phone like 100 times a day. Oh yeah, I do see one which is really a priority. I was looking at my Queen of Hearts because that one I also wanted to repot. That is like still in the soil where it came with, but I do see another one which is like really high priority, so I will go and grab that one. And that's this beautiful Anthurium. I do have it like in a heavy planter because it's so top heavy that else it's going to drop over. It already happened a while back, that's why you can see there's some damage on these leaves. Yeah. Hi Sheila! Hi José! Hi Moppy! But yeah, as you can see like how big this plant is, and this is the pot where it's in. Oh, it's also pretty rooted into here. So yeah, this one can really use a good size of. Let me see, it's now in this one. Okay, I do see that the size pot where I want to place it in, I don't have that size anymore. I do think that my Thai constellation is in the size pot that I want to use for this one. So maybe I should go and first do the Thai constellation so I have that pot for this one. I will think about it for a little while because I am going to do a little coffee break with my boyfriend now, and I feel like there's also this noisy thing going in front of our home, like some kind of like vacuum situation. I will be right back. Okay, so I've decided to not go with that size which I originally wanted to start with, but I'm immediately going to go 2 sizes up, so it's quite a big increase in size, but I do think it will turn out really well because Anthuriums have like really chunky roots, and in my experience they also grow a big root system really quickly. So I think it will be just better to immediately go with this size that is not like already in the need for a repot like at the end of the growing season. So I think with this size it could also stay in here for a little longer. I'm first going to remove a little bit of the moss which is still on there. I think like all the roots that were growing in the moss made it to over here. But there are 2 which I'm doubting if they even will start to grow. think like this one even has a little bit of wood on there, so maybe I should go and chop that one off. I'm gonna chop a little bit from the root. Yeah, the other one I think still has potential to grow. Or there's some sheet thingies on which I immediately can remove. After the repot, I will not water this one right ahead because I did saw that there's still like a little bit of water in the leaf. I don't know if I can show it. I think it's not noticeable, but you do see on the edges a little bit of like water like sitting in the cells of the leaf. I have still quite some mix left, but I do think with this one I do want to add some extra, what is it called? Tree fern fiber. Because this is a mix where I also use tree fern fiber, and I do feel like anthuriums like to have that in their substrate, in the soil. So first, take it out of this pot. Oh, some beautiful looking roots we have here. Look at those beautiful anthurium roots. So satisfying. It looks really, really healthy. So yeah, I'm also not really going to mess with this root system because I think it just looks really well, and I think it's only in here for also up to 8 months maybe. So yeah, it can definitely go another round with this one. For this one too, a little bottom. Maybe I should do a little bit less. Yeah, this was really the best decision to go with this size. Like if I see like the stem, if I want to have it covered, then I really need to go with this size. The wind was blowing the door shut. So now it's just a matter of filling this one up. I also do see that my battery is almost empty, so I'm not sure if I can film this all to the end. Because I also need to pick my daughter up, I think within like 30 minutes or so. So yeah, I hope I can film this repot all the way. Where's my lips? So yeah, this is also the last plant that I am going to repot. Oh, I only just now see that it's growing something else. Is that going to be a leaf or a flower? That will be so excited if it's going to be a new leaf. Okay, I do notice that it's still standing a little bit wobbly in here. But I think like if it will root a little bit, then it will be way more stable than it is now. And I even think that I immediately also going to put a layer of moss around the stem. Maybe I can do like one more little scoop. So like this. Okay, this is way better in this size pot. Way better, what's the right word? Like for the size of the plant, like compared to the pots, like before it was just, I think, just way too small. But yeah, so this was already the last plant. Have I even mentioned what it is? No, this is, by the way, this is an Anthurium Luxurians crossed with Crystallinum. I think this one is just really pretty. I think this definitely is one of my favorite Anthuriums. And I also think this is the biggest one that I have in my collection. Yeah. That was already it for the repots. I think all these repots will be a YouTube video on itself. But yeah, like I said, I still need to do quite some more repots. So there will be some, I think maybe a like a repot series in the repots. Yeah, I will definitely be doing updates on how these plants are doing in the monthly Planty Updates videos. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you do have any questions for the next repots, then please let me know in the comments. And without further ado, I hope you're having a great day furthermore, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!